Gonna put on another MillerCat Cat Shield, this time on a 2020 Toyota Corolla. Hey, what's up YouTube? Dan the Fix-It Man. Got another MillerCat Cat Shield to do, this time on a 2020 Toyota Corolla. Now it comes with this nut plate here and it says that this is for certain years only. In our case, we are gonna need to use this. I'll show you once we get underneath. It comes included with all the necessary hardware, and it also includes the Vibra-Type brand thread locker that you do need to apply to all fasteners. Now you should also wear protective eyewear while doing this and wear some gloves. The ends of these can be pretty sharp. Now it's not recommended to use power tools when installing these. Of course, use that at your own risk if you want to. As far as the tools, you'll also need a ratchet, a 10 and 12 millimeter socket, and also a bit driver. Now you're also going to need a jack and jack stands. As you can see, I've got the vehicle all lifted up safely so we can crawl underneath there in a minute. But just wanted to show you, the first step is you need to determine whether or not you need to use this nut plate. And all you need to do is crawl underneath. See, there's a really nice diagram right here. Now, if these holes are threaded, then you can disregard the nut plate. It's not necessary and you can skip ahead to step 5. But in our case, we do need to use it. I'll crawl underneath and show you. So the first thing we need to do is take out this O2 sensor bolt, and then we're gonna line up and install this nut plate. All right, so these are the holes we're talking about right here. This one, and then the one over here. They're not threaded. And so we are gonna need to use that nut plate. And in order to install the nut plate, we need to use a 10 millimeter socket and remove this bolt that holds the oxygen sensor mount in place. All right, and then we just need to position the nut plate. It basically just has to go up above the holes, but also below the mount right here for the oxygen sensor. And then we can reinstall that 10 millimeter bolt that we took out. Just before you snug that, make sure that all of the holes are lined up with these factory holes, and we'll go ahead and snug this down. Now we need to remove these two factory flange nuts that secure the exhaust heat shield on either side, and those are also just a 10 millimeter socket. Now before I head down underneath with the shield, I'm going to put the thread locker on these 3 button head bolts. These are the M6, and I'm also going to put thread locker here on these security nuts as well for the rear. All right, now I've got the security bit here and the bit holder, and then I also have this other security bit for the security nuts in my 12 millimeter socket. We're ready to take the shield down with all this hardware and get it installed. Now MillerCat recommends the use of maybe an extra jack stand like this to help hold the shield up while we get it lined up. And then we need to use these button head screws with a washer and get these all threaded in. Now I'm leaving all of these still somewhat loose so that we can come back and tighten everything once we get everything started. And then you can just push the shield on. It should line up with these studs, and then we can get these security nuts started. All right, now that we have everything lined up loosely, we can go through and tighten everything. Now, all of the M6 hardware should only be tightened to 60 to 80 inch-pounds. I'm gonna start here in the back with this security key for these security nuts. All right, now for the front, we have the security bit here. And these are also 60 to 80 inch-pounds. If you don't have a torque wrench, just know that that's not very much. So you just want to barely make that snug with a ratchet. These are very easy to strip out if you overdo it. And just like that, this catalytic converter is protected. Now I've done several installs for MillerCat. This one was actually one of the easiest. Nothing is of course 100% theft proof. You know, if somebody really wants this, they can get underneath here and start cutting through their shield and everything. But a lot of people have seen thieves on their security cameras reach underneath the vehicle with a phone or a camera or take a picture. And if they see something like this, they just move on. They go on to the next vehicle, they're done. It's too much work and too much effort and makes too much noise for them to hassle with this shield or try to cut it off and get that catalytic converter. This really does work. Now, if you're watching this video because your catalytic converter has already been stolen, I'm very sorry. It's terrible, it's upsetting, and it's extremely frustrating. You really almost feel violated when you go out to start your car. And of course, as you know, it's an extremely loud noise because it's open exhaust, and it startles you as well. You get so angry, you get so upset, and then of course you start thinking, man, I should have done that. Unfortunately, these catalytic converter thieves are just not stopping. They'll continue to take these catalytic converters as long as they're accessible and as long as they're getting a lot of money for them. You probably know if you have a new Toyota Corolla that you are going to be targeted for your catalytic converter. The thieves are just not stopping. They're relentless. They're pulling these off in parking lots and people's driveways. Even a gated community near me got hit the other night. If you have a 2020 or newer Toyota Corolla, I highly recommend you pick up this MillerCat CAT Shield. You know, it's a pretty small investment to protect these catalytic converters, which are extremely expensive. Now, MillerCat did send this to me in exchange for this quick little installation video, and I do want to say thank you to them. They've been a great company to work with. Now, MillerCat was also kind enough to give me a coupon code for my viewers. It's Dan the Fix-It Man. If you enter that in when you check out, that'll give you 5% off site-wide. I hope you like this video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you don't mind. That does help me out. I'll get a link in the description along with that coupon code where you can pick up a cat shield for your vehicle as well. Thanks so much for watching, and good luck.